our meeting of the Beaverton Planning Commission. If you would like to speak during the visitor portion of the agenda or provide testimony on an agenda item, please use the raise hand feature in your Zoom menu bar. If calling in, press 9 to alert the chair you would like to speak. For the record, I will do a roll call to verify which commission members are participating this evening. We have Commissioner Winter, Lawler, Ellis, and a call, and I believe Commissioner Klinwinkle will be joining us shortly. Let the record show that Commissioner McCann is excused and absent tonight. The visitor section of the agenda is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on a non-agenda issue or item. Anyone wishing to speak should indicate this to staff and wait for your name to be called. Does anyone wish to address the Planning Commission on a non-agenda issue? Okay, looks like we currently have no visitors on the Zoom. So staff has stated we have no visitors. We will move on to commission communications. Any communication from commissioners? Okay, seeing none. Staff communication.
Good evening, Chair and I, Jana Fox, current planning manager. I have no staff communications either.
Okay, moving right along tonight. The first item on the agenda is the application for the Beaverton High School Portables case file CU 2023-0004 and DR 2023-0033. The applicant has the burden of providing that the applications are consistent with the Beaverton Development Code, Comprehensive Plan, and any applicable Beaverton Code provision. The criteria that must be addressed in the hearing are the Beaverton Development Code sections 40.03.1, Facilities Review, 40.15.15.2.c, minor modification of a conditional use, and 40.20.15.3.c, Design Review 3. The testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards these approval criteria or criteria in the comprehensive plan or development code that the speaker believes to apply to the application. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to allow the Planning Commission or other interested parties an opportunity to respond to the issue may preclude an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Anyone who submits comments or gives oral testimony has standing to appeal this decision. Failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the city to respond to the issue may preclude an action for damages in circuit court. State and local law require that commissioners make certain disclosures. To these ends, the following questions will be asked. Does any commissioner have a potential or actual conflicts of interest, ex parte contacts, or site visits to declare? Commissioner Winter.
I actually did take a drive by the Beaverton High School parking lot today. I had no contact and no contact.
Okay. Commissioner Lawler?
I have no conflicts, and I also conducted a site visit today, but did not interact with anyone.
Great. Okay. Commissioner Klinwinkle, welcome.
Hi, sorry for my tardiness. My wife works for the Beaverton School District, so I may have a potential conflict of interest. So I wanted to state that.
And Commissioner Akal?
No contact. No.
Okay. Commissioner Ellis?
No contact or practical conflicts. Just for clarity, my mother-in-law's house is a block away from this location, and we are there all the time. I can actually see her house in the materials that is presented in the maps and stuff. So I'm intimately familiar and am next to that site constantly, but I don't see any conflict.
Okay. Does any member of the audience wish to question the commissioner about ex parte contacts, site visits, or challenge the right of commissioner to participate in this hearing? Okay. Let the record show no response. Sorry, I'm getting myself organized. The order of the public hearing tonight will be as follows. City staff will give a presentation followed by questions of staff from the commission. The applicant will then be given 20 minutes for presentation, followed by commission's questions of the applicant. Then members of the public in support may speak up for 5 minutes, followed by members of the public opposed. And finally, members of the public neither in support nor opposed will have up to 5 minutes to speak. After public testimony, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The planning commission will then hear final comments from staff. We will now begin with staff presentation.
Thank you, Chair Nye. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Steve Regner, Senior Planner with the City of Beaverton, and the application before you tonight is Beaverton High School Portables, case file CU 2023-004 and DR 2023-0033. The proposal consists of the placement of 8 portable classrooms and 1 portable restroom ahead of the Beaverton High School rebuild project. The applications include a minor modification of a conditional use permit, as well as a design review 3. The project is located at 13120 Southwest 2nd. The site as a whole, the entire Beaverton High School campus is approximately 28 acres. You can see in red there, but the actual area of work is about 3/4 of an acre at the corner of Erickson and 2nd Street. It's in the central Beaverton neck and is zoned residential mixed C with RMB and MR to the south and north, and downtown RCOT directly to the east. Any placement of portable classrooms on a elementary, middle, or high school campus requires a minor modification of a conditional use. This site and the greater high school campus has had conditional uses on file with the city since at least 1970. But the high school campus itself has functioned as a school for much longer than that. If I recall correctly, the Merle Davies building has been there since 1937. So the campus as a whole has been functioning as an educational institution for about 85 years, if I've done my math right. So based on findings in the staff report, staff finds that the proposal is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, not only based on the longevity and duration of the presence of the school. The location or placement of the portables will not result in an increase in student or staffing levels, as these portables are intended to offset classroom losses due to the reconstruction of the high school. And the portable classrooms are temporary and will be removed after the reconstruction of the campus. The second application is the design review 3. You can see the site plan here with Southwest 2nd to the north and Southwest Erickson to the east. There are 8 portable classroom structures in a cluster with 1 restroom structure to the north adjacent to Southwest 2nd Street. A look at a few of the elevations. The image at the top is kind of an image sitting or standing inside the cluster of those portables. The middle image is from Southwest Erickson looking west towards the cluster. And then the bottom image is an elevation of the rear of the restroom, which is what will be directly visible from Southwest 2nd Street. Based on the facts and findings of the staff report dated May 17th, staff are recommending approval of the Beaverton High School portables, case file CU 2023-004 and DR 2023-0033 with conditions as listed in the report. Staff is prepared to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Great. Commissioner Ellis.
Steve, thanks for that. Pretty straightforward and appreciate it because it reflects what's in the materials. My one area, and I'm not sure if this is one for you to respond to or if this is one for the school district, understanding that the confines of the parking lot and putting the portables there doesn't really raise a lot of questions. But I didn't see really anything in the materials related to new or increased pedestrian traffic over Erickson or over Erickson and 2nd Street. And especially given the location of the bathroom facility use that's up against 2nd Street, that area is already a bit of a shooting gallery today when it comes to traffic and kids crossing that road during morning and afternoon time slots. If we're going to have an additional load of kids going back and forth, sometimes high school kids aren't the best decision-making machines out there. And so having an additional load of X number of classrooms worth of kids going back and forth at different times during the day with access to public streets did throw a red flag up, in my mind anyway.
Yeah, and that's a fair question. We did talk this over internally with our transportation engineer and transportation planner, and essentially their opinion was that the existing infrastructure there was suitable. But I'm also happy to defer to Beaverton School District for them to talk a little bit about how they intend to manage that new trip load.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawler.
Kind of jumping on the transportation bandwagon. What is I don't recall reading any particulars about the existing access off of 2nd Street. Will that remain, or will it be fenced in?
Sorry, are you referring to the vehicle access?
The vehicle access to the existing parking lot.
That will be completely closed, and there will be no vehicle access in that parking lot. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that there was no vehicle pedestrian conflicts for safety reasons on site.
Okay, so will the fence be added there across that gate?
I would have to check the plans on what the approach is for closing that driveway. That might be another thing that the school district can answer about what their plan is to restrict access there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had this written down and I forgot to ask it during my time. It didn't mention anything in the docs here, but just I wanted to double check this verbally. There are trees in this lot already. There's no removal happening because of this, right?
There are, if I recall correctly, 4 parking lot landscape island trees that are being removed. No mitigation is proposed for that, essentially because we know that the larger high school rebuild is coming. They've actually already applied for the land use application. So the logic there being that it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to plant any mitigation trees now, because if plans change through the land use process for the high school, we don't want them to go and then cut down or move trees that have planted just to offset the loss of those parking lot island trees.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Thank you.
Okay, other questions of commissioners? Okay, sounds great. So we can move on to the applicant presentation. You now have 20 minutes. Please begin by introducing yourself and stating your name and address for the record.
Good evening, planning commissioners. My name is Stephen Sparks. Address is 1260 Northwest Waterhouse Avenue in Beaverton, and the zip is 97006. I'm the executive administrator for long range planning for the Beaverton School District, and we have put together this package for you. Mr. Regner has basically stolen all of my thunder with his presentation, so I have nothing else to add except the site has been used as a school since 1910. Beaverton High School has been there since 1915, and he is correct about Merle Davies being there since 1937. In response to the questions that have been asked earlier, with respect to the trees, yes, we are removing 4 parking lot trees, and we will include those removals as part of our mitigation plan for the larger redevelopment of the site, because that parking lot will be scraped as a part of the redevelopment. And so we will need to count all of those trees, even though we're removing 4 of them now. With respect to the gate or with respect to the access from 2nd Street, there is an existing gate that has been left open for a long time just because it's been used as a parking lot. Our intention is to close that gate and secure it. we will still want to have the ability for TVFNR to, through a Knox box, be able to access the parking lot if needed, if there's any kind of emergency. But that gate will be there closed so that there will be no vehicles entering the parking lot, again, other than emergency vehicles. And then with respect to the increased pedestrian activity crossing Erickson to the portable site, we've been thinking about this long and hard, and we have a few things that we are planning on doing. First, the school is going to prioritize having classes in the permanent building. We prefer not having students going back and forth on a regular basis if we can at all avoid it. The fact is we still will have more students crossing the street. We plan on having signage out there for when students are present to alert drivers of increased traffic. We're also clearly going to monitor how that goes. Starting with the new school year, we will have staff out there supervising students. And if it gets to a point where we need to enhance that safety, we'll have crossing guards out there during those, those crossing times between classes. I think that was it for the questions. In terms of the rest of the proposal, I know that portable classrooms tend to be in place a very long time. These will be removed summer of 2026. We have to accommodate the loss of 20 classrooms from the Merle Davies building. And as soon as we have the new high school open and ready to accommodate students, these portables go away and the existing buildings will be demolished. So we need this land for, this will be a tennis court, 4 tennis courts in our future plan. So there's no place for these portables in the future. We've read the report. Staff report, we accept the recommendation and the conditions of approval, and I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Hey, do commissioners have questions? Commissioner Glenwinkle.
Yes, thank you for being here tonight. I was wondering how many students are going to be in the portables. And I ask because it's quite a number of portables. It's very dense in the parking lot. And so I'm wondering if it's necessary to have so many portables for the number of students, especially since you mentioned that there will be fewer in the portables and you'll prioritize them being in the main building. Would it be possible to have fewer portables on the site?
So we've looked at that very closely. This is for the operation of the school, the minimum number. We have 20 classrooms in the Merle Davies building, and we're only going to have 16 classrooms here. So part of that is consolidating what we have in the permanent building, and not in the 8 portables may not have students every time at every period. We have a capacity of about 20 to 24 students in each of those portables, with a grand total of, I'm looking over my,
It's about 500.
Yeah, it's about 500 ish capacity out there. And it'll be a challenge. But the school has given us the direction in terms of their planning for the academic calendar that they need this as a minimum.
Yeah.
Other commission questions? I have a question. Why locate the restrooms closest to the street versus slightly more private?
You want to answer that one? Did we thought of that?
Well, it's
Hang on 1 second. Let me introduce Jeff Hammond. He is our senior construction manager, and his address, for the record, is also the same as mine, which is 1260 Northwest Waterhouse Avenue.
Yeah, so the restroom portable was primarily located in that location due to the being close to existing utilities. The sewer and the water line are located along Second Street where we would connect them. There'd be a much larger expense for us to run that sewer and that utility if we had it further into the site. We also have grading problems down at the other end of the site, so you could potentially have that bathroom up off of the ground higher than we would want it if we put it closer to the building as well, because it does slope at the southwest corner of that parking lot, more than you would think if you looked at it walking by. So those are the primary reasons why it's located where it is. It's basically access to the existing utilities that we'll tie into.
Okay.
And for the record as well, that's Jeffrey Hammond, Hamman.
Thanks. Any last questions from commissioners? Commissioner Ellis?
Yeah, and sorry, just practical questions on these outbuildings and the restroom buildings and such. And just because I haven't been to school in a little while, how are they accessed? Are they badged or keyed? In terms of during the day, are they locked up after 3:30 p.m., that kind of thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. They are key locked. We don't have badge controls on these. If we were going to make them a permanent feature, we would put them on a badge access, and they're not going to be used after the school day. This is purely for regular school hours. There are no afternoon or evening activities in these portables, and even the staff will be inside the building.
Thank you.
Commissioner Glenn.
I was just wondering if maybe I missed it, but what is the existing parking lot used for right now? Is it staff parking or student parking? And where will those vehicles be displaced to? Where will they be street parking when this is filled with portables?
So we did a parking survey over the course of, I believe it was a week earlier this school year, where we inventoried all of the parking on the site, and we had an average utilization of approximately 75-ish% of the use. So the parking will have the loss of the parking will have a negligible impact to the use or the availability of parking spaces for the students and staff. I think the biggest direct impact will be for the clinic, the Virginia Garcia Clinic that's in the annex building. They have, that convenient parking in that lot, but we're going to have them, be able to park over there in front of the school. In terms of the rest of the use of that parking, it's a mixture of students and staff.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. If there are no further questions of the commission, I will open it up to public testimony. There are no participants on the Zoom side, but I will read this anyway in case there are any callers. So we are now in the public testimony portion of our meeting. We will call, I'm not going to call for testimony in groups. So now's the time for testimony in favor of the application. Seeing none. Any testimony in opposition to the application? I'm seeing none. Oh, I'm seeing none. Staff has said there's none. Any testimony neither in support nor opposition to the application, but simply want to speak? I'm still seeing none. So with no public testimony, there's no need for rebuttal. And we can move on to final staff comments. Staff, do you want to come? There he is.
Thank you, Chair Nye. Staff has no additional comments, but we appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, and City Attorney? She's here.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I have no comments unless you have questions of me.
Well, with that, I will close the public hearing, and as standard procedure, I will randomly poll commissioners to state their conclusion on the application. I'll start with Commissioner Winter.
Well, this is a fairly straightforward application. Meets all the criteria, so I'm in favor.
Okay, Commissioner Lawler.
I think the design review criteria or guidelines don't really pertain to portables that well. I think in this case, because again, they're treated as temporary, I think that I could sort of overlook some of the, I think, slight inconsistencies with our design guidelines. So generally, I support the project because I think it's, again, an interim use.
Okay, Commissioner Ellis.
I think overall I'm net positive. I don't know how much steam I have here behind this pedestrian idea on Erickson. I'm still trying to mull that over in my head. Having been a indiscretionate youth myself and having seen the volume of kids who end up at Dairy Queen next door to the high school there, or end up over at Mexicali Express across the street there, like I know how much they wander today. And asking large groups to go back and forth and not having a proactive plan. I respecting and understanding that the school would respond and increase safety or security measures if they felt they needed to, but not having a more proactive plan on the crosswalk there at Erickson and Second, or the one further back by the sports field, worries me a little bit. I don't think it worries me strong enough to make a big fuss about it. And I think the other considerations have been met. So I can't say, I don't think I can say no. I'm just trying to be nervous about the pedestrian stuff.
Great, thank you. Commissioner McCall.
I'm supportive of the project, but just a follow-up question on it. Can there be a guideline set up by the school during this project that kids aren't allowed to leave campus?
Yeah, I would think the school district can set up whatever rules they want.
Yeah, because that'll be good safety for while the project is being done.
Okay. Commissioner Glenn.
So as a standalone application, I think it's pretty straightforward and does meet the approval criteria. But just as a full package, I don't support the demolition of historic buildings. So I don't support this application. I will vote yes, because it meets the approval criteria. But for the record, I don't support the project.
Great, thank you. I would say I'm generally in support of the project. I think 500 kids crossing the street, potentially, the school district should be pretty proactive in managing that. And we will deal with the demolition when that application comes through. With that, we will look for a motion. Commissioner Lawler, do you want to make a motion?
I will attempt to make a motion. I move that we approve case file CU 2023-004 and DR 2023-0033 based on the facts and findings found in the May 17th to 2023 staff report and the conditions of approval in attachment D of that report.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second on the motion?
I will second.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Glenn. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, with no discussion, I will take a vote by roll call. Commissioner Winter,
Aye.
Commissioner Lawler,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Call,
Aye.
Commissioner Glenwinkle,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well, so motion passes unanimously. The Planning Commission's decision will be memorialized in land use orders that will be provided to all parties that provided oral and written testimony. If you would like to appeal the decision, you must appeal in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Beaverton Development Code and rules of the Land Use Board of Appeals. So, we have one other item on the agenda this evening, which is the meeting minutes for February 1st, 2023. Of the Planning Commission. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes for the meeting of February 1, 2023 as submitted.
Okay, can we get a vote by raising your hand if you are in support? Vote aye. Okay, we've got 5. Okay, and Commissioner Glenwinkle.
I'm abstaining since I was not at the meeting.
Okay, great. Motion passes 5-1 with 1 abstention, which means we can adjourn at 7:02 this evening. Thank you, everyone who attended.
Thank you. Good night.
Ta-ta.
Thank you. Bye.